So a little bit later in the service, we will be having our Stardust Communion, where we celebrate our connection to this amazing world and the cosmos in which we live. But before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of a history lesson. 100 years ago, the world's greatest scientists thought that the entire universe was just what we now call the Milky Way galaxy. That's the galaxy that we live in. These scientists thought there was absolutely nothing outside of this one galaxy. The galaxy was the universe. And then in 1924, a man named Edwin Hubble. Does the word Hubble, does that sound familiar to any of you guys? You ever heard that before? There is also a Hubble Space Telescope that was named after him. But in 1924, they didn't have big, fancy Hubble telescopes. They just had sort of smaller, more regular telescopes. So Edwin Hubble pointed his new telescope at what looked like a hazy cloud up in the stars. Can you show us our next picture? So if you can see, there's a very small kind of hazy piece of the sky. That is what it would look like from the Earth when Edwin Hubble put his telescope up to see what that was. And with this new telescope, he could see that Andromeda was no cloud. Show us what he saw with today's telescopes. This is what you would see. He saw that it was not a cloud. He could see little spots of light, just like you can here today within Andromeda. Just like we can sit here, because this photograph is so clear. Thank you, Hubble telescope. To his amazement, in 1924, Edwin Hubble calculated that some of these stars were 2.5 million light years away. And the light year is a really long way away. So this made him conclude that these stars were so far away that they couldn't be a part of this galaxy. They had to be in a new galaxy, all of it their own. And just like that, the universe got twice as big. There were two galaxies. But Edwin Hubble was still really curious. He wondered whether there might be more galaxies in the universe. So he pointed his telescope at some other kind of cloudy spots in the night sky. And what do you think he found there? More galaxies, absolutely. He discovered that these little stars were also shining from really, really, really far away, beyond our own galaxy. Suddenly, scientists were starting to realize that the universe was a whole lot bigger than they had thought it was before. So think about it like this. 100 years ago, when your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents were born, nobody in the whole world knew that the universe was any bigger than just our one Milky Way galaxy. How many galaxies do scientists think exist in the universe now? How many galaxies do you think exist in the universe now? Thousands and thousands. That is a very good guess. Anybody else? Any other guesses? 72 billions and billions. Aha. Someone has heard this story before. Let's see it. Let's get our next picture up here. The next picture that I'm going to show you up here is one of the things that makes your generation so much different from previous ones, because this is your universe. It is even bigger than the universe that I was born into. This picture was taken in 1995, and it was taken with that very special space telescope that we just talked about, the Hubble telescope. It's called the Hubble Deep Field. Every single one, except for a couple of exceptions, every single one of these dots of light is a galaxy. made up of billions of stars each that is very, very far away. And what they did, they took the telescope and they put it looking at one little piece of the sky, not even this big, make the tiniest little circle possible and put it up there. That was the size of the sky that the telescope was looking at. And they put it there for 10 days so it would gather all of the light. Now, if there are this many galaxies in a piece of the sky this small from where we're sitting, scientists were able to calculate how many galaxies could be in the whole universe. And that number was 100 billion galaxies. That is such a big number that I don't even know how to describe it to you. It's 100 billions, and a billion is 1,000 millions, and that's more than I can ever imagine. Which is amazing, because just in the time from when I was born to when you were born, we were able to discover all of these galaxies in a very huge world, in a very huge universe. Now you might say, well, okay, so there are a lot of galaxies up in that little one spot, but there's a whole lot of blank space up there. So maybe other parts of the universe don't have that many galaxies. So scientists, they wondered this too. Scientists are really good at wondering. That's their superpower. They ask a lot of really good questions. And then they test those questions and they experiment. So they pointed the Hubble at a different spot in the sky. And they counted just as many galaxies in that spot. Finally, in 2004, raise your hand if you were born after 2004. So there's some folks here who have known this their whole lives. I had already graduated from college in 2004. I grew up my entire life not having seen the next picture, because here is what they discovered in the Hubble Ultra Deep Field. Now, it kind of looks like the last picture. It's maybe not as exciting as it was in 2004, but this was an even smaller piece of space. And in this picture, they looked at that piece of space for 3 whole months. It just sat there looking at that one piece of space, taking in every tiny particle of light it could. And they found even more galaxies. Now, we think of time as something like on a clock, where it only goes in one direction, right? We can't go back to the past and do something again, right? But time and space are funny together. These stars are so far away that it has taken a long time for the light that the stars are emitting right now to get to Earth. That's how far away they are. The light that we're seeing is from the past. So when we see the light coming out of a star, that light left that star hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, sometimes even millions of years ago. Some of these teeny tiny spots that are galaxies are so far away that it took 13 billion years for that light to get to this planet. And light moves really fast, right? If I turned on a flashlight up here, you guys would see it right away, right? Light moves really fast. We see it right away. But these stars are so far away, it took 13 billion years for some of this light to get here. And we know also that the beginning of the universe, as far as we can tell, was 14 billion years ago. So some of this light left those stars almost at the very beginning. This ultra deep field photo is a baby picture of the universe. Isn't it cute? All those little baby galaxies out there, brand new, only like 1 billion years old. I don't know about you, but thinking about a universe that big makes me feel really small. I'm just one person on one planet around one star in one system in one galaxy in a universe with 100 billion galaxies. But I don't want to send you away only feeling very small. Yes, on one hand, humans are just a tiny piece of a humongous, incredible universe, but we are also very important. If we didn't exist, who would be looking up at the universe right now? Who would be discovering all of these wonderful things about the cosmos? Now, maybe there are alien life forms somewhere else in this galaxy or in another galaxy who are doing the same thing from their planet, from their moon, from their sun. But we haven't met them. We don't know about them. We are the only ones that scientists have ever seen. And that means that we can think of ourselves not only as very small, but also in a very special way. Take another look at this baby picture of the universe. And think of it this way. You are the universe looking back at its own baby pictures. Because you are not separate from the universe. You're a piece of the universe that has evolved to a point where it can go, that's pretty cool. Humans have evolved within the universe, but our eyes are the eyes through which the universe sees itself. Our ears are the ears by which the universe can listen to the story of its own beginnings, like you are doing right now. Humans evolved within the universe, like an acorn grown on the branch of a tree, or an apple grown on the branch of a different tree. We are thinking about the universe, and we are a piece of the universe that can have fun thinking about how big and how old the universe is, and that can enjoy looking at its own baby pictures. The universe is also within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself.